Hey everyone, it's Mari. Today I'm sharing a card making process with you. And I am heavy right now into making my Christmas cards and spending lots of time in my craft room going through those processes. So I was making the second one of these cards today and I thought I would just share this with you. So I'm working with the Mama Elephant Pointsettia stamp and die set. And this is just a very, very nice set. And you can actually buy the poinsettias separately from the dies, or you can get them as a set. And this is one of the most recent releases from Mama Elephant. And I just really, really love this set. It's gorgeous. And you can do a lot of different things with this stamp set. Today, you'll just see me making a watercolor card with this stamp set for Christmas. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just using my MISTI to stamp the images down on some watercolor paper, and I'm just using some VersaFine ink in black, and then I just took my powder tool and just put down some powder onto that watercolor paper, and I'm using some Versamark ink now just to prepare this for some I'm going to do some heat embossing, and I'm going to use some black embossing powder here. And I believe this is Stampin' Up black embossing powder. Now, what I really like about this technique is that going ahead and creating the lines in the heat embossing is really makes the watercoloring super easy for this process. So that is the method to my madness here. So I'm just going to heat emboss that very quickly off camera with my heat tool. And then here you see that all of the heat embossing is done. And I'm just going to take my little water brush and my Kuretake watercolors, and I'm going to just do some really basic watercoloring here. So once again, that having those little areas where the water is going to be trapped because of the embossing ridges makes this really super easy. You don't have to worry about the colors running from one petal into the other and so on, and it is a really quick and easy little process. So I'm just taking one of the red colors from the pans and I'm going over it with the lighter, and then I'm taking a darker red and just darkening it up in some of the areas on those petals. I'm just going to show you one of the petals, or sorry, one of the flowers, I think maybe one and part of another one. And then I'm going to switch to showing you painting the leaves. And this watercolor palette is somewhere between a really cheap palette and a really expensive one. So that's one of the things I really like about the Kuretake pans is that they do give you really nice vibrant colors and a really nice selection of colors. But they're not super expensive. So kind of a nice medium set to work with as far as price goes and quality. So now I'm just taking a couple of the different colors of green. I'm going in with a lighter green to start off with, and then I'm taking a darker green just to do a little bit of darkening and some shadows and so on. I apologize. I should have zoomed in on this more than I did. I am trying to get used to videotaping my card making process. It's a little bit different than scrapbooking, right? Because it's important that you get in a little bit tighter to the work that you're doing. So I didn't do a great job of that. So next time I'll try to improve that. Once I have all of my leaves painted in here, what I'm going to do is go in with some of the gold. Another thing I really love about this set of watercolors is you have some of the gold iridescent paints in some of the pans, and I just really love using that to do some highlighting and add in a little bit of an extra effect. So I'm just going to go over all of the greens in the leaves to create a really pretty gold shimmer, and that's what you can see me working on here. Now when I go to add the Wink of Stella to the petals, I zoom in a little bit, and you'll be able to see the gold detail on those leaves at that time. But really all I'm doing is just going over with a really, really light amount of that gold, just to do a little bit of highlighting. And you can see there how pretty that looks. It just adds a really nice, pretty gold shimmer to those leaves. Now I'm just taking my clear Wink of Stella and I'm going over just the petals, and it just adds a really pretty shimmer to the petals of the flowers. Now I don't know if you can really tell with this lighting and so on what that looks like, but it is really, really pretty. It does just make them look really sparkly. And I think with a Christmas card, it's nice, right, to have that little extra bit of glittery shimmer. Now I'm just going to take all of the dies and I'm going to stick the dies down with just a little bit of micro pour tape, and then I'm going to just run these through my Big Shot and cut all of the little bits out here. So I'm just going to grab that Big Shot and cut those out, and now I've got those all cut, and I'm just going to take, this is a set from My Favorite Things. I forgot to bring that into where I'm doing my voiceover to remember what this set's called, but I will leave that in the description below if you're interested. I really, really love this set of Christmas sentiments. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now I'm going to be taking the Nuvo gold embossing powder, and if you do not have a gold embossing powder and you're looking for one, this is gorgeous, and you're going to see just how pretty this is when it's all heat embossed. So yeah, it's just the Nuvo gold, and you can pick that up at lots of the different online stores. So I'm just going to take this little black frame that I've cut out. This is a My Favorite Things stitch border, stitched frame, and I'm going to just use a little bit of mono adhesive on that to stick that down. Now what I've done is I've taken a piece of white cardstock and I've run it through an embossing folder on my Big Shot, and it's a whole bunch of little crosses or plus signs, and I'm just going to stick my stitched frame over top of that. Now I'm just going to cut that excess white off, and then I'm going to glue this whole piece down to a card front, and this is going to be a 5.5 by 4.25 frame, card, and just going to stick that down here in a minute. And I'm going to get that down onto my card front, and then you'll see me start to add the poinsettias to the front of that card. So just want to use a little bit of my ATG on this just to make sure that it's going to stay put on that card front. So stick that down, give it a really good push on there. And now I'm going to just take my poinsettias and I'm going to actually raise some of them up with some foam dots, and some of them will just be flat. So the first one that I put down here as the bottom layer, I'm just going to put down flat, and then the other ones I will put up a little bit with some foam dots just to give it a little bit of lift. So just use a little bit of my ATG on there. I just slowed the video down here a little bit so that you could see what I'm doing here a little bit more carefully with this last little bit of the process. So I'm just taking some of that foam adhesive, and I'm going to put this second one down, and then I'll just tuck that third poinsettia in behind that one. And I'm just trying to remember, I think I just put that down flat. I don't think, oh no, I do pop that one up too a little bit. And actually, yes, that's right, it's going to go on top of that center one. And then I'm just going to take those leaves that are left over, and I'm going to just stick them in a few little spots, just little random areas. Now this was, if I didn't mention already, this was the second card that I made like this. I do like to mass produce if it works out. If I've got all of the things out to create a card before I put it all away. I'm more than likely to, if I like the card, I'm more than likely to make more than one of them, just because it takes a lot, right, to get all of your stuff out and get everything all set up to create a card. So what I did was I just took that joy sentiment, I heat embossed it with that gold, and then I just fussy cut it out. And now I'm just taking my multimedia mat and I'm going to stick that down just up at the top. So there wasn't a set of dies with this sentiment set. So I just thought it would look really nice to have a sentiment just cut out and sitting on top of that embossed paper there. So I really like how that looks. And so there's the joy in gold. Now I just wanted to add a few other little gold details. So I'm just going to take some gold cupped sequins. There's that one that I made, the other one that I made first. And I didn't videotape that process, but just videotaped it when I was making the second one. So now I'm just taking some of these gold cupped sequins and I'm just going to add a few of those, just a few little sprinklings of those. And then I was looking at the card and I thought, I think I'd really like to add some glossy accents to this one. So I just took my glossy accents and I added them to the centers. I add a little bit of glossy accents glue to the center of the poinsettias in a couple of spots. And I really like how that looks when it's all dry. It just gives it a little bit of, just a little more extra detail, right, to the card, and just gives it a little more shine and glimmer. Just taking a little pin to knock out the dried up glue that's in the middle of my glossy accents bottle there, and I'm just going to put some of that down, and that is going to be the card. So there's going to be some still shots at the end here, guys, if you want to stick around and check out the still shots of the cards. So thanks so much for stopping by today. I hope you like this, and I will see you again next time, and maybe I will videotape some more of my Christmas card processes. So thanks so much for stopping by, guys, and I'll see you another time. Bye-bye.